All right, let's talk about one of the biggest infrastructure stories happening on the planet right now. It's India's massive data center build-out. Seriously, you can think of it like a modern gold rush, but instead of digging for precious metals, the biggest companies in the world are in an all-out sprint to build these digital fortresses that are going to store India's most valuable resource, its data. Now, to really get your head around the scale of what's going on, you have to start with this number, 20%. That is India's slice of the entire world's mobile data consumption. It's just an incredible, mind-boggling amount of digital information being created, streamed, and shared every single second. But here's the twist. That number, just 3%, is how much of the world's data center capacity India currently has to actually store all that data. And that huge gap, that mismatch between what's being created and where it can live, well, that's the engine driving this entire revolution. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll dig deep into that great data mismatch. Then we're going to take a peek inside one of these so-called digital fortresses. After that, we'll look at what's fueling this incredible fivefold boom, check out the $30 billion race to build it all, and finally, we'll ask the big question, is India building a new digital empire? Okay, let's kick things off with that fundamental gap. Why on earth is India generating so much more data than it can currently handle? Well, the why is all around us. It's rooted in everyday life. You've got 850 million people online. Every movie you stream, every digital payment you make, every single 5G connection, it's all creating more and more data. The country's digital economy is just on fire, and the physical infrastructure to support it is in a frantic race just to keep up. And if you want a number that just puts this into perspective, get this. Mobile data traffic in India has shot up nearly 30 times since just 2017. That's not just growth, folks. That's a data explosion. And all that data needs a home. So we know why they're needed, but what in the world is a data center, really? Let's pop the hood on these technological marvels and demystify what's actually going on inside. You know, the easiest way to think of a data center is like a super high-tech fortified warehouse. But instead of storing boxes, it stores, protects, and processes unbelievable amounts of digital information. It's the engine room of the internet. It's the physical backbone of our entire online world. At their core, these places run on three things that are totally non-negotiable. First up, unfailing power. I'm talking multiple power grids, huge battery backups, generators, because they can never ever go dark. Second, constant cooling. You have thousands of servers packed together generating insane heat, and these massive AC systems keep them from literally cooking themselves. And third, Fort Knox-level security, from super-fast fiber optic cables and special meet-me rooms to physical security that would make the military jealous. So we have this massive demand, but what's turning it from a simple need into a perfect storm? Let's look at the drivers that are accelerating this boom by a factor of 5. It's really a convergence of 4 powerful forces. On the tech side, you've got that data surge from 5G and streaming, plus the AI revolution, which is a total game changer, needing 5 to 6 times more power. Then you've got policy. The government is pushing hard for data localization, basically rules that say Indian data has to be stored on Indian servers. And finally, it just makes good old-fashioned economic sense. And the economics, they're incredibly compelling. It is just way cheaper to build and run a data center in India. We're talking setup costs that can be up to 30% lower than in the US, with electricity about 20% cheaper. At this scale, those numbers add up to billions in savings. And make no mistake, this isn't happening by accident. This timeline shows a very deliberate government strategy. It really kicked off in 2018 when the Reserve Bank of India said all payment data has to be stored locally. And since then, a whole series of data protection laws and the ambitious India AI mission have created this powerful incentive for companies. Keep Indian data on Indian soil. Okay, this brings us to the sheer scale of the investment and the major players who are duking it out in this new market. We are talking about a $30 billion race to build India's digital future. Here's the target. By 2030, India's data center capacity is projected to hit 8,120 megawatts. Just think of megawatts as a stand-in for raw computing power. And that number, that's a 5-fold jump from where we are today. It is a staggering level of construction in such a short amount of time. So who's running the show right now? Well, the market is pretty concentrated among just a few big players. And it's no coincidence that a lot of them, like Airtel's ENS Extra, are owned by telecom companies. I mean, it makes sense, right? They're already experts at managing huge, complicated networks, which gives them a natural head start in this race. So where is that $30 billion in capital expenditure actually going? This chart lays it all out. A massive 35% of it goes to electrical and power systems alone. This boom isn't just about data centers. It's creating huge opportunities for everyone in real estate, construction, cooling systems, and networking. But the future? Oh, the future market might look very different. Just look at the planned capacity additions. You have new domestic giants like Adani Connects and Reliance planning the largest expansions by a long shot. This signals a major shakeup is coming to the competitive landscape as they race to meet this insane demand. All right, let's zoom out for the finale and think about the bigger picture. What does all of this actually mean for India's economy, its citizens, and its place in the world? The benefits are huge. We're talking a major economic boost, creating jobs and attracting billions in global investment. And for everyday users, it means lower latency. That's just a fancy word for less lag. Your movies stream faster, your games are more responsive, and strategically, it's about digital sovereignty, making sure India is in control of its own critical data. But, and this is a big but, this boom comes with some pretty serious challenges. These facilities are absolute energy hogs, which raises tough questions about sustainability. The investment required is massive, and finding enough skilled people to build and run them all won't be easy. The industry is already planning for what's next, though. The focus is shifting to building smarter, AI-ready facilities. That means a huge push for renewable energy to solve that sustainability problem, and the growth of something called edge data centers, smaller facilities in Tier 2 cities designed to bring that computing power even closer to users for lightning-fast speeds. There's this quote that I think just nails the moment perfectly. The race isn't just about catching up anymore. It's about positioning India to become a major data hub for the entire globe. The stakes really couldn't be any higher. And that leads us to the final and most critical question. As India rushes to build the physical foundation of its digital future, the central challenge is going to be managing this immense tension between the incredible speed of this growth and the long-term needs for both environmental sustainability and rock-solid data security.